I think you would agree with me that these days it is much more difficult to find the light. We know that light shines in the darkness, and the darkness is pretty overwhelming these days, and it's hard to find the light. It takes more work to see the light, find it, and bring it out. I want to share a beautiful teaching of Rabbi Dov Ber of Lubavitch. He was the second Rebbe of the Lubavitch dynasty. He lived at the turn of the 19th century. He taught a beautiful teaching on Hanukkah based on the verse in the book of Proverbs, which says, Ner Adonai Nishmat Adam. The candle of God is the human soul. The candle of God is the human soul. It's a beautiful verse. And in this teaching, he looks at the Hanukkah candles, and he describes what he sees. There are three parts. There's the wick, there's the flame, and there's the oil. And he observes that there's something somewhat unnatural happening. The flame cleaves to the wick. It doesn't rise, right? I mean, a flame should rise. But here it sort of holds on and cleaves to the wick. The other unnatural thing or surprising thing is the wick is not burnt. You would expect the flame is attached to the wick and it burns the wick, but the wick doesn't burn. He says, how is it possible? And he says it's all because of the oil. The oil is what keeps the flame attached to the wick, and the oil is that which prevents the wick to be burned and which keeps the flame burning. It's a pretty interesting thing. And he says, well, this is a metaphor. The metaphor is that, of course, the flame, which has no mass, it's something very ethereal. It symbolizes the soul of the human being. It gives light, it shines, and it rises, and it wants to rise, and it symbolizes the soul. The wick is the human body. So the soul clings to the body. It wants to rise. It wants to go back to its source. But while we are alive, it holds on to the body. It attaches itself to our body, and it shines. The soul is that part of us that shines in our eye, in our eyes, in our smile, in our loving, in our warmth, in our doing good things. We shine. What makes it possible for the soul to attach the body and not go up, and for the body not to be consumed by the power of the soul, is the oil. What's the oil? And he says the oil is selflessness, is human devotion, is our dedication, it's our loving, it's all the qualities of the heart that we must cultivate. The more we cultivate these things, giving ourselves to others, to love, to justice, to peace, to the repair of the world, the more we give of ourselves selflessly, without seeking reward, the more we give ourselves, the brighter our soul shines. And that's the secret of Hanukkah, he says. That's the lesson we have to learn from watching and looking at the candles, that we have to cultivate these attributes of the heart so that we can shine in the world. Because it's difficult in these dark days. We have to be the light. It's not outside. We have to be the light. And we are called now to rise, to be more selfless, to be more generous, to be more devoted, to be more dedicated to all these things that communities need, that society needs, that the world needs from us, selflessly. And the more we do it, the more we'll shine, the more our soul will be God's candle. The candle of God is the human soul. So in many ways, God depends on us. God shines in the world. God's light shines in the world when we shine. That's the lesson of Rabbi Dover of Lubavitch, and I think we can think about it and meditate on it, and hopefully find the way or the determination, the decision on this Hanukkah to shine ever brighter.